guys, it's Kathy here, and I wanted to do a little tutorial to show you how I did this postage stamp frame in my red, white, and blue mini album. I have the directions on how to do this included in the PDF tutorial on this mini, but I wanted to show you sometimes seeing is better than pictures and reading. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. For this, I'm going to set this aside. For that frame, I used this Holtz Postage stamp die, and the nesting, well, I guess it's a rectangle die that goes inside of this. You can do this a couple of different ways, but this is just the way I did it, so I'll show you how I did that. The first thing you're going to want to do is cut just the postage stamp out in white cardstock. I used a white Coordinations, and I was able to sand it afterwards. So I cut it out of white cardstock. And then I ran it through this Sizzix embossing folder. It's one of the Holtz, I'm not sure what it's called. I think it might be the Sunray. So that is the base. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is put the rectangle inside of the Holtz die. And you're going to want to line that up so that it's pretty much centered inside of there. And you're going to want to cut this out of the white cardstock again, so that what you're going to end up with is something like this, where you have the cutout frame. You're going to want to run it again with red cardstock so that you have it again with the frame. Now, if you don't have the rectangle die, but you maybe just have the postage stamp die, you could do this also with a rectangle, like a Spellbinders die, one of the thin dies. I don't personally have the rectangle dies from Spellbinders, but you could run your shape like this and then just tape one of the flat rectangle dies to it to get a perfect rectangle in the center. You could also use an X-Acto knife and ruler. So you've cut one with just the postage stamp, and then a white one with the frame cut out in the center there, and then a red one. And on this white frame, your next step here, if you want, is I ran it through a little star embossing folder here. I think this one is a Paper Studio embossing folder, and just got the stars on the outside, and then I sanded this one as well. So what you're going to want to do next with the red frame is I used a paper trimmer, and this is the part, if you look on here on this postage stamp, where I had the red frame inside. And I used a paper trimmer and just very carefully lined it up and just cut right around this inside rectangle until I came up with this. And of course this is going to fit perfectly over your white frame. And the other way that you could do this if you're using nestabilities is to just use the next size up, cut a rectangle, use the next size up, and then cut out a frame as well that's going to fit right over. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some glue here, and it's not going to work for me, on this frame. And then you just line it up on the white one. It's going to be kind of fussy with me. And adhere that down like that. Okay, so then you're going to take the first piece that you ran through the embossing folder, put that down here, and on this frame piece I use dimensional adhesives to make that kind of 3D effect on the frame. So go ahead and put these on the frame portion. And then on mine, I left a little bit of space on the top where you could slide a photo, a very small photo behind it. So you just want to put the dimensional adhesive on the top. Actually, that's probably a little bit too long. You just want to put it around the top corner. And then we'll go ahead and adhere this to postage stamp. So you can see here that I have a little gap here on here. Actually, I put it on the wrong side, but for the purposes of this tutorial, I'll show you. I should have put this adhesive over here to have the gap that I had in mind. But anyway, you're going to just line this up right over the top of the other one and adhere that down. And then you have the little space to slide something under. And then you can put the little, I'll show you here on here, put the little three-dimensional, you know, mailbox. I also put this little border strip, I glued it to the outside of the frame, and the star there. So that is how I did that, and I hope that you found this tutorial to be helpful, and thanks for watching.